Hey Internet, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for sticking with me. Back on the RD with the stuttering issue. So I've been spending quite a bit of time on the internet researching it, going through YouTube videos and what have you. And I stumbled upon this guy who's a motorcycle mechanic of 25 years or more, and he'd got this list of how many carbs he's sorted out over the last couple of years or so, and it was like over 100. It was tons. And he was saying that people generally come to him when they've tried all of the regular types of cleaning that they can do as a DIYer, and he described the symptom that they tell him the bike's got, and he got it to a T. He said it's the moment, or it's the period where the bike's running before the needle valve takes over. He said what it usually boils down to is a blocked airway in the carburettor that's really difficult to get to. Now I know a number of you guys suggested getting that ball bearing out and cleaning up that airway behind there and then replacing it with a grub screw. I'm not too sure I'm all that confident in doing that, but as I say, the symptoms he described are exactly what we've got, that stuttering before the needle valve takes over. So what I thought I'd do is I would buy myself a little ultrasonic cleaner. I'm not suggesting it's going to solve it, completely, but I thought it's the first good step. It's 2.5 litre one, quite inexpensive off Amazon, along with some Carburettor cleaner for it. I mean, the guy was saying that the main problem is if this fluid, because the video I was watching of him, he was really sort of dissing the whole ultrasonic cleaners for carburettors thing, and he was suggesting why is because if the fluid hasn't got into all of the crevices, if there's a blockage that's stopping the fluid getting somewhere, then it's not going to clean it out, or potentially it's not going to clean it out. Or if there's an airlock somewhere, you haven't got the whole thing full, all of the little channels and what have you in the carburettor, he said it's not going to do it. So he was quite dismissive of using ultrasonic cleaners for the carburettors, but it'll give me another opportunity to have a good internal examination of the carb, and I might have to send it away to somebody like that chap and get him to do it, because I'm not too sure about digging that ball bearing out and what have you. Anyway, so I'll get the carbs off, get them stripped down, get them in this thing. It's going to be a few days before I get the sort of end result of this, because I've got some work coming up and I'm away on work and stuff, so the video is going to be made over a period of a few days. Alright, let's get cracking. So the instructions say do it at between 60 or around 60 degrees, so that's just warming up now, and we're going to do it for an hour, so we'll just increase the minutes on there. Obviously it's quite a small machine, so one carb at a time. Also, another tip I got from the internet was to put your small bits and pieces in a glass jar. It has no detrimental effect on the cleaning ability of the machine, so it just keeps all the small pieces together. Okay, so let's just wait for that to warm up, and then we can drop it in and off it can go. Okay, so rereading the cleaning solution bottle, it says do it between 40 and 60 degrees, so we're going to pitch for 50 right in the middle, because it warms up more whilst the machine is in operation. So yeah, we'll drop them in at 50. Then I think when that's done, this first hour, what I'll do is take the jar out, because those bits are pretty clean anyway. I mean, those jets are new. And then we'll invert the carb, put it back in again, do it for another hour. Okay? It's a nice job. Okay, well that's the carbs built back up again and refitted, and it fired up really easily, you know, probably third, fourth kick, something like that. So no leaks, all good. Not going to get to road test it today, we'll have to do that next time. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that ultrasonic cleaner. It seems to have brought stuff up really nice, and the water itself that's in there now is really quite nasty, so it obviously has taken some stuff out of it. So the ultrasonic cleaner has got 3 modes on it: degassing, sweep and turbo, and I had to look up what they were, but the sweep feature continually adjusts the ultrasonic frequency, so it's meant to be good for cleaning complex parts. So hopefully that will have helped with the cleaning on the internal areas of the carb that I couldn't get to. You know, especially without taking that ball bearing out. I've been looking at videos on how to do it again, and you know, I'm still not too sure about that. But anyway, so I rotated the carb in the machine to try and make sure that the fluid was in all of it. They've had sort of 2 hours each carb on the sweep and turbo, varying the settings often. If this doesn't work, then I think it's going to have to be that I either try drilling out that ball bearing, or I send them away to get somebody else to do it. But yeah, I can't think really there's much else more we can do now. So road test next time, and let's just see how we go. Okay, thank you. Hey, well, that didn't work, did it? You know, the guy with the comments about the ultrasonic cleaner, hey ho. Anyway, I wanted an ultrasonic cleaner for a while, so you know, for cleaning other components like fuel petcocks and stuff like that, so no money wasted there. But it was worth giving it a bit of a go. Anyway, it didn't work. The bike, it actually cut out at one stage. I mean, it started up straight away again, but yeah, still got that misfire, still not very happy. So I'm throwing the towel in, and I'm going to send it to Mutt's Nuts. I've been trying to get in touch with him for the last couple of days, and I rang him today. Emails are easier when I'm out working, as it is for most people, so, but I rang him today and I got an automated message saying that the workshop's closed until I think the 20-something of June, so the bike's not going to get done. I think I've done pretty much everything that everybody has suggested, apart from take that ball, drill that ball bearing out, or furcle that ball bearing out and then replace it with some sort of grub screw. I'm not comfortable doing that. I just know I'll just destroy the carburettors in some sort of way that will mean I'll have to replace them. So I'm just going to send it up there. This guy has got a dyno as well, so hopefully we'll get the bike on the dyno and get it sorted once and for all. So yeah, there'll be a bit of a gap in the resolution of that. So to ease my despair with not having my beautiful classic RD, I thought I'd go and get one of the others from up the lockup. So I have. So I went and fetched my lovely, fully restored 1981 GPZ 550 D1. I love this bike. You know, there's a lot of videos on the channel about the bike and how it's a love-hate relationship. She's tried to kill me, cutting out on roundabouts and all this sort of thing, and it's just been niggly problems that I should have addressed originally before I put it on the road, because the guy who had all of the restoration work done, he never used it. So when I got it, all the bolts were loose, there was bits and pieces needed doing. I've had to replace the rear shocks, I've done some wiring, nose cone fairing brackets, that was hanging off, just some bits and pieces really to finish the bike off. It was virtually there, and I mean, it's, as you can see, in absolutely super condition. It did have a Motard 4x1 on. I had a Netta 4x1 off the bike that I went to France to fetch, so yeah, I had that on because I just love the sound of the Netta. you know, when I went to pick it up from I took the KTM up to the lockup and left that up there and brought this back, and this started, okay, it did have one squirt of easy start, but it started first button, you know. So yeah, I think we're going to be getting out on this, and it certainly eases the pain of not having the RD on the road for the next few weeks. So yeah, all good. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Didn't get to the bottom of the problem myself with the misfire or the stuttering thing, but hopefully we'll get that done when Mutts Nuts gets it on his dyno up in Wetherby. Hopefully we can get a relatively okay booking date. Incidentally, I did try getting in touch with a guy who I'd put the video on earlier about him, you know, commenting about, oh, you know, people who use ultrasonic cleaners to their carbs, it don't do any good and all this, that and the other. I can't remember the name of his business now, but he is a business. I'll put the name down here. Got in touch with him, got an automated email back saying booked up until November, not taking any new bookings for, you know, the next few months. Get in touch with me then. So I don't want to wait until next year before I get the bike done. So it looks like if Mutts Nuts can get me in, it's going up there. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for sticking with me. Sorry I didn't fix it, but you know, hey ho, sometimes you just gotta say, you know, it's too much for me. You know, I'm only a DIYer. You know, I think we've tried most of the things that everybody's suggested, so thanks very much to them. Stick with me, we'll have some more videos coming up soon. I look forward to getting out on the D1, so okay, thanks very much. Bye.